Posted by you/True Nefariousness 462. To preface this story, I'm going to start with my opinion. I do not believe what my daughter did was wrong. In fact, I'm incredibly proud of her. Even though she may have been overzealous, her reasoning was very much in the right place. We have discussed at length what she should do if ever in this situation again, which I hope she is not. I, 35F, have a wonderful 9-year-old daughter. She is smart, outgoing, and incredibly strong. 2 years ago, my ex-husband and I divorced. He fell out of love with me and into the bed of a 21-year-old. It's a story as old as time, but it doesn't hurt any less. About 6 months ago, I was mugged on my way home from work. I was badly bruised and mentally distressed. My ex is not a present father. He moved to France for work about 3 months after the divorce was finalized, so he wasn't able to help look after my daughter while I was healing. She spent some time with my mom but saw me at my worst. I have a lot of guilt about that. She became very anxious about leaving the house and didn't want to leave my side. She was worried that mommy would get hurt again. A friend of mine's son had been bullied at school a while back. She enrolled him in karate classes, not for fighting but to build his confidence, and it really worked for him. She suggested that putting my daughter in some classes might help her feel more secure. I suggested it to her, and she wanted to do it but asked if I would join her. To be honest, it was probably a very good decision. I spoke to the sensei, explained the situation, and asked if I could sit in on the beginner's class with her. He agreed. We both loved it. She picked it up so quickly and enjoyed the play activities with the other children. A few months in, she was leaps and bounds ahead of me and ready to train with a more advanced group of students. The bonus was that the advanced kids class took place after the beginner adults class. So, we changed our schedule. I started training with adults while she continued with the advanced kids. She picked it up so quickly, and her confidence in her abilities soared. A few times when we've been out, she's noticed things that worried her, like someone walking towards us. She'd grip my hand a little tighter and move herself in front of me. I keep reminding her that I'm the adult, we are safe, and this is not her burden. For anyone wondering, mental health care is hard in the UK. We are not very well supported. She has spoken to a school counselor, and while she hasn't indicated she needs further help, we are on a waiting list. Therapy never hurt anyone, so why not pursue it? But I can't afford private care, and the NHS takes a very, very long time. Fast forward a few weeks. Last week was her first week back at school after the summer holidays. There was a new student in her class, whom we'll call Alex. Alex and my daughter have become fast friends. She couldn't stop talking about him on Monday when she came home from school. Alex likes this food, Alex likes this TV show, Alex said this, Alex did that, etc. It's adorable, but my daughter has taken it upon herself to be Alex's bodyguard. Alex is a very expressive child. They wear a school uniform, but Alex likes to wear nail polish. He has long hair, often styled in a plait or pulled back. He decorates his shoes with bows and wears whatever he feels comfortable in. His parents are amazing too. They've been so welcoming to both my daughter and me. We even shared drinks over the weekend after the incident. They are wonderful people. So, the incident. Last Thursday, Alex changed his black nail polish to a deep plum purple. Some boys in their class decided to show how poor their upbringing was by telling Alex, "You're a boy. You shouldn't wear girly things because that's what makes you gay." Both Alex and my daughter told them to shut up and bother someone else. One of the bullies then said, "If you're wearing girly stuff tomorrow, I'm going to kill you." Yes, you read that right. My daughter, being a defiant little menace, decided not to tell an adult. We've had a very long conversation about this, don't worry, and handle it herself. Alex also decided to respond in his own way. Friday morning rolled around. The plum nail polish was gone, replaced by the most beautiful, vivid pink you've ever seen. This was like waving a red flag in front of the bullies. One of them marched up to Alex and told him he was going to kill him at lunchtime. My daughter told the bully he could try, but she wouldn't let him. At lunch, true to his word, the bully ran at Alex. My daughter took him out. Now, bear in mind that, up until this morning, I only had the details from 2 9-year-olds. When Alex told me she flew, I was skeptical. He said she punched the boy in the face, made him bleed, and now he's petrified of her. I got a phone call from the school after lunch asking me to pick her up because she had been suspended for fighting. Alex refused to leave her, saying if she was suspended, so was he because it wasn't her fault. Alex's dad arrived at the same time I did to collect our kids. The headmaster told us that an investigation was pending and that we would be called in for a meeting on Monday. When my daughter told me the full story, I was livid. I asked why she didn't tell a teacher. She said she wanted to handle it so the bully would know he couldn't threaten people, but she did tell a teacher afterward, who didn't believe her. This made me even angrier. I contacted Alex's parents, and we discussed the situation. This morning, at 8 a.m., I sat in front of the headmaster. He began by bemoaning how my daughter had brought violence to the school, broken a boy's nose, and, I kid you not, how this was unladylike behavior. I was honestly aghast. We are a zero-tolerance school when it comes to violence, he said. My daughter had been standing on a small wall at the edge of the playground, keeping watch. When she saw the bully running toward Alex, she launched herself off the wall, punching him midair. She landed on him and locked his arms until the playtime supervisor arrived. I asked the headmaster how his investigation had been conducted without involving my daughter, Alex, or their parents. He stammered, saying he was told it was unprovoked and my daughter was the only aggressor. I pointed out that both my daughter and Alex had informed him of the threat. He fell silent. I told him my daughter was not suspended and would not return until the situation was dealt with satisfactorily. I emailed her teacher, requesting classwork for her to complete at home. My daughter is with me in the office today, and my boss is letting me work from home for the rest of the week. I know I am partially responsible for what she's done. I know violence isn't the answer. I'm proud of her for standing up for her beliefs, but we've talked about the importance of telling me about situations like this. I am furious with her school. I called Alex's mom after the meeting. Alex wasn't in school today because they were having a meeting about the bullying he has faced. Alex's mom supports my actions and plans to pull Alex out of the school if the response is inadequate. There aren't many primary schools locally with available spaces, but I am deeply unhappy with how the headmaster has handled this situation. Thanks for listening. I just needed to word vomit into a void. Update 1 day later. Firstly, I want to thank everyone in the comments for showing support and sharing your own stories. I honestly thought, and still do to some extent, that I've messed up and failed my daughter. I thought her need to protect came from seeing me so broken. A comment, which I've now lost, said something along the lines of, "Mummy got hurt by bad people, and now her friend is being threatened, so she wanted to stand up for us." As honorable as that is, I don't want my little girl to feel that way. I want her to be a child for as long as she can be. I want her to play with her friends and have no cares in the world apart from who's going to be the goalkeeper or whether she wants ham or turkey on her sandwich. Do you know what I mean? I spent some time with her over the weekend and last night reassuring her of that fact. I told her that I am always in her corner, always right behind her, and will always believe her, no matter what. She has promised me going forward that she'll always tell me everything, from the small things to the big things. I'm her mom, no matter her age, she's always going to be my baby, and I'll always go to bat for her. We've also discussed whether she feels safe at school and if she thinks the teachers would have dealt with it had she told them. She said she feels safe, but she doesn't know if they would do anything because she's never asked. This is something I'll be keeping an eye on and discussing with other parents to see if their children have similar feelings. Now, onto the update. My daughter is suspended until Wednesday. I had a meeting with the deputy headmaster because the headmaster was unavailable today. Alex's mom, who, for ease, I'm going to call Joanne, had a meeting with him yesterday afternoon. For context, my meeting with him lasted about 20 minutes. Joanne kept him locked in the office with her for nearly 2 hours. In those 2 hours, she made him go through the anti-bullying policy chapter and verse, explaining each point. Joanne told me she got him to admit that what the other child said to Alex alone should have been grounds for punishment. He still claims he hadn't been told about the threats and wants to open an investigation into his staff to get to the bottom of it. Joanne told him she didn't care how he handled his staff right now. She said he needs to stop trying to place blame elsewhere and take accountability. Her first and only concern was that her child had been at the school for less than a week and had already received 2 death threats, yet the only person being punished is the one who stood up for him. He reiterated that, "We have a zero-tolerance policy," to which Joanne stopped him mid-sentence and asked why her son wasn't included in that policy. He apologized and said, "I can see how that could look that way," but hasn't said how he plans to fix it because he needs to do another investigation. I'm starting to think he has a word of the day calendar or something. My meeting with the deputy head was very basic. I think it was essentially just to placate me, but I've documented everything in case I need to revisit this. My daughter has been suspended for fighting, but she can return to school tomorrow morning. I asked if the other child would be punished but was told they couldn't discuss the other child. Honestly, that's fair, but I'll be monitoring the situation. There will be no behavior report or forced apology. Last night, we went to Alex's house for dinner. Alex keeps telling my daughter, "You're on my Christmas card list for life." I don't know where he got that from, but they think it's hilarious. My daughter has convinced Alex to try karate, and they're very excited. It's karate night for us on Thursday. I'll be talking with Sensei Paul about the altercation, just so they can chat about safety and when to fight. More than anything else, I just want her to be safe. She's not an army, she's still a little person and needs to remember that sometimes. I also told my daughter that I shared her story online, and I showed her some of the kinder comments. I asked if she'd like to choose a name you can call her, and she chose Hawk. Suddenly, something clicked into place. The flying punch she did was a cobra punch. The character Hawk from Cobra Kai does them a lot. You sort of kick your leg like you're going to kick the opponent but instead follow with a punch. No one has taught her this move, but I've seen her jump off the sofa and sort of do it before. When we started karate, I introduced her to the Karate Kid series, and naturally, we followed it with Cobra Kai. She's absolutely obsessed with Hawk and Tori. Minor spoiler for Cobra Kai, please don't talk to her about the end of the last season, she's very upset with Tori right now. We've since had another discussion about not replicating things we see on TV and in movies. Parenting is hard, and the teen years are still ahead. I might just dye my hair gray now and get it over with. One more thing I'd like to address. I received 2 really horrid DMs regarding Alex's gender identity and orientation. Firstly, they're 9. He's figuring out who he is. If he's LGBTQ+, then that's who he is. But it's no one's place but Alex's to determine that. He likes bright colors, makeup, and nail polish. He's unapologetically himself, and we could all learn a thing or two from that. Anyway, Hawk saw some comments suggesting she deserves a treat. Many of you mentioned ice cream, but she doesn't want that. She wants a sword. Apart from being terrifying sometimes, I think she's going to be okay. I'm going to buy her a play training sword and maybe some books about the samurai. If anyone has other suggestions, I'm all ears. I don't know if samurai will be a good or bad role model, but she's developed a passion for martial arts, and I'm all about supporting physical activities while mixing in some history. I'm sorry, I intended to keep this brief, but I just seem to waffle. I think I need to find more adults to talk to, haha. I was never much into journaling growing up, but I can see why people do it. It's nice to get everything in your head out and onto paper. Things seem much simpler that way. Anyway, I'm not sure what the future holds, but I know we'll tackle it head on, sword in hand, apparently.